There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is only this world with its dark reflections, and we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a confusing show.
An abbreviated show as well.
The Rebellious Rev.
And the Doc. I'm
the Rev.
And I'm the Doc, and as the intern and the Doc, I have to explain to you, our listening audience, that we're having some staff and management problems. And if you read Blog Talk Radio, it's very iffy whether or not we will even be on for the next 2 weeks. We're trying to negotiate a settlement to our dispute, but there are no guarantees. So just bear with us. You will not be able to call in. I know it frustrates.
No, tonight they can call in. Everything's fine.
It's working again?
If it's working, yes. Why put it on?
Well, I was going to say they can check into the chat room and type their messages. I mean, I haven't heard anything so far.
If they call in and it doesn't work, then we know we got a problem. But as far as I know, call-ins are fine. That part is working. Let's see if we can get the chat room to work. That'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been following in the papers. Lots to report from the European and Middle Eastern trip by our president with a small P.
With a small P?
Yeah.
Like a small penis?
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with his sexual organs.
So why small P?
Because I don't recognize him as a real president. You know, I think the American people were bamboozled, and the Electoral College made a big mistake.
The Electoral College didn't make a mistake. It was legitimate votes. Where's the mistakes?
Well, you say the Electoral College didn't make a mistake, yet one can turn around and say that Hillary, with 3 million more votes,
should be
president.
No, our country does not.
Yes, I realize
does not work by popular
I said I
realize
the
Electoral College.
Well, but this is what's driving him crazy: the fact that he still refuses to admit that he didn't get the popular vote, and many people.
Well, he said it many times.
That many people feel that he is not a legitimate president.
Well, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the Judiciary, they all know he is the legal president of the United States till he resigns, passes away, gets impeached and thrown out. He is your president. Like it or not, he is your president.
I just think he has a lot of chutzpah, you know. He has a lot of gall. I mean, especially at NATO. He said nothing about Article 5, an attack on one is an attack on all. He said nothing about Russian aggression. But he did chastise them about not paying their fair share of the defense. Okay?
Well, don't you think they should?
Hey, listen, there are ways to do things.
I asked you a question. Just answer me.
I'll answer you. Why did he tell the Saudis that he didn't come there to lecture about human rights, but he went to NATO, our allies, and he lectured them? Why did he do that?
Because they owe money. Do they owe the money or not? Let's start with that.
And did the 19 Did the 19 people who drove planes into the World Trade Center all have or not have Saudi passports? Answer me that. Answer me that.
There's one thing that has nothing to do with the other.
Oh, yes, it does. Countries give what they can afford to give.
They're not giving what they can afford to give.
They're not giving the minimum, which I could understand. All right, there's a reason to be upset about that. But every president in the past has tried to get them to pay up.
Well, now every country agreed to pay up.
Hey, listen, you could agree from, the Yiddish expression, heint or morgen, today and tomorrow. All right, doesn't make a difference.
Well,
and what
this
does that mean?
This is the first time.
And what does that mean? If there's an aggression against one of them, we're not going to come to their aid?
Of course we are.
All right.
When they pay their money.
Yeah. And then he pushes the president of, I forgot the name of the country beginning with an M, pushes him out of the way because he wants to be front and center. Everything is about me. Please,
President of Moldova. I know he can't stand him, but there are facts that are still facts if you hate him or not.
You know, Melania has the right idea. Shove his hand away when he thinks it's time to hold our hand. He doesn't do anything like ordinarily. He never holds our hand.
Well, guess what? Yes, he does a lot. And Obama's wife always pushed him out of the way. She fought with him. Did you know that?
Married couples have fights, Felix. You had fights.
So when Obama does it, it's okay. When Trump does it, it's not okay.
Yeah, okay. You know, you're the reason that there will never be health care, because if I say something about Trump, you got to get into...
No, you're making it sound like he's the only person that does certain things. Why don't you listen?
John Kasich, and I got to tell you, out of all the 18 or 17 Republicans running for president, he was the only adult in the room, said that unless you could come to a consensus on health care that's agreeable to both sides, okay, that's bipartisan, not just one or two votes from the other side, all right, you're never going to get health care that's going to be viable and that will stay. Because every time there's a change in who's in the White House or who's in the Congress, okay, there will always be arguments and fights about, I can give you a better plan. Like if you buy life insurance and then a friend of yours says, I could do better than that.
That's true.
Well,
that is absolutely true. I can do better than you.
I haven't seen one decision that this man has made that would make me proud to be an American. I'm sorry.
Really?
You know, offshore drilling, the pipeline, all right, climate change, all of these things.
Okay.
And like I said to you last week, his Secretary of Commerce, Ross, I believe his name is, he looks like the evil Nazi from the original Indiana Jones movie. All right, doing that little sword dance with the Saudis last week, you know, and he said everything is so orderly. He said, I haven't seen one demonstration, no placards or anything. Doesn't he realize that that's an autocracy, that he's a supreme leader, the Saudi king, and he passes it down to his son, okay, that there's no free elections, that women still have to walk 5 paces behind their husbands, they're not allowed to drive, all right? It's amazing. All these things get swept under the rug because he wants to sell them $110 billion worth of military.
Well, it's been... What did Obama or any other president before that do about it?
Look, I know Obama had a very shaky...
any president, not just Obama, any president before him. Do anything about it.
Gee, I don't know, Felix.
Did any president any president before, this has been going on for a long time, did any president do anything about it before?
Gee, I don't know, but like I said, one can say 9/11 happened on Bush's watch. Okay, he's a Republican, and you don't think that they wouldn't have, there wouldn't be another terrorist attack in this country under Trump's watch? Don't hold your breath.
It could be done on anybody's What has that got to do with anything?
We've been safe for 16 years, though, haven't we?
No, we've had attacks here.
Well, I'm not talking about the loan cells. You can't help. They have stopped many loan cell attacks. That I'll give you credit for.
And we've had many.
But most of the attacks in this country have been loan cells, one or two people working alone, all right? And it's after the fact that neighbors come forward and say, yeah, he was quiet, but he was always strange and this and that. They managed to shut down, they meaning, the police and CIA and FBI within this country. They shut down many terrorists' plots and they thwart many terrorist plots. Okay, but Brennan even said it. He said, we have to be right 100% of the time. The terrorists have to be right only once.
Okay, what does that got to do with anything? That's been like that for years now. I mean, I don't understand what's the between that when Trump was in there, before Bush was in there. What's the difference?
No difference at all, Felix.
No, I'm asking you, what is the
And
difference?
I'm telling you, I have no answer. No difference at all.
You're making it sound like he's the only president that had the problems.
I don't see him doing much to solve our problems.
Did you see?
What about infrastructure? All right? He can't pass a friggin' budget. That budget that he submitted, it's going to wind up putting 23 more million people without health care in 10 years, not to mention...
Nothing has passed or even come close to passing. Wait till something
Well, you said, what has he been doing? He submitted a budget that is not going to be passed, okay? Not the way it's written. He submitted a health care resolution to the Senate, which is not going to be passed the way it's written. There hasn't been any mention of infrastructure or monies thereof, but he keeps talking about his friggin' wall.
And there's nothing been done about that neither. What is?
Because in his budget, there's $1.6 billion set aside the first year for the shoring up of the wall. That's why.
Okay, so what does it got to do with that? I don't. That's not 15,
has nothing to do with anything.
That's not $15 billion.
What?
That's 1.6.
So what?
The wall costs $15 billion.
He said started. He never said anything about finishing it in 1 year or 2 years. He wants to get it started because he knows that his base is waiting for him. Okay, you promised that you'd build a wall. Okay, where's the wall they're saying? He's blaming Congress.
And he's right. Congress is blocking it. So what does that mean?
According to you, just like according to me, he can't do anything right. According to you, you are the typical Trump supporter who has blinders on.
I have no blinders.
Yes, you do.
I realize. I see the truth.
Yes, you do.
I see the truth. You don't.
Oh, you see the truth. Okay. Yeah.
I see both sides.
No, you don't see both. You don't see both sides.
You definitely don't.
I readily admit I don't see his side. He's done nothing.
You don't see either side. Tell me what the Democrats have done.
What could the Democrats do as a minority party?
Well, and what did they do when they were a majority party?
That was only the first 2 years under Obama. And like I told you before, but you don't listen, Republicans vote in a block, all right?
I don't know. The Democrats seem to be doing a pretty good job with it now.
Why don't you listen? Republicans vote in a block. They did everything they could to obstruct Obama. Okay, there was... The only way he passed Obamacare was that there were 3 Republicans who were not running anymore for the Senate who gave him the approval, and that gave him 61 votes. But Trump couldn't even pass, his Supreme Court leader. Oh, he just made it because there were 51 votes, okay?
Because everybody votes in a block. The Democrats are voting in a block.
No, Democrats, when Obama proposed legislation in 2008, 2009, just before the 2010 election, Democrats always vote their conscience and their